Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my hope and prayer that this video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I'm fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. Maybe you could let me know where you are watching this particular video from. Earlier today, President William Samoei Arap Ruto and Francis Atwoli held close to 2-hour meeting at State House in Nairobi. That meeting is definitely going to shape the politics of this country, especially of the Mulembe nation, moving forward. And the question which most Kenyans are currently asking is whether Raila Odinga will still be able to control Western Kenya or Luhya politics the way he has done before. In the last election, when everybody thought that Mudavadi was going to outwit Raila Odinga in Luhya land, Raila Odinga actually emerged victorious. But with the departure of Francis Atwoli, questions are being asked whether Raila Odinga will be able to still control Western Kenya. And for me, I've looked at Western Kenya politics and I've come to the conclusion that Raila Odinga must do these 5 things urgently if he hopes to continue sustaining the support in that region. And I want us to be very brief. So in case you're watching this video for the first time, please click that subscribe button now. And to the subscribers, I hope you guys will enjoy this particular video. Now, let me tell you a bit of a story. After the last election, not last election really, 2017 general election, just before the Supreme Court made their ruling. That time I was based at Church Road Secretariat. And you just know, we had members of parliament who had just been elected. They were coming there. They were being interviewed on NASA TV, for those who remember. And this particular day, Rafael Wanjala came. Remember, he had lost severally. So he had recaptured his seat. So he came, and after the interview, he came to where we were. We were around 3 or 4 guys. And we just congratulated Rafael Wanjala. And there's something which Wanjala told me during our interaction, that for a long time he thought he was fighting with a babu in Budalangi, or maybe fighting other wars in Budalangi. Unknown to him, he kept on losing in Budalangi because the people of Budalangi viewed him as someone who was fighting Raila Odinga. And he made a commitment to me that for him, the fact that he won that seat, even if he was going to lose the ODM nominations in the 2022 election, he was not going to contest. Because contesting in Budalangi, you will always be viewed as fighting Raila Odinga. So he would rather lose the nomination and stay without contesting. But he told me, and I marked that he will be the last person to leave Raila Odinga in Western Kenya. Indeed, he stuck with Raila Odinga. I'm giving you that story so that you can understand the power Raila Odinga has always had in Luhya land. But with the departure of Atwoli, are things still going to be the same? For me, Raila Odinga must do the following urgently. The first thing he must do is that Raila Odinga must reactivate the ODM network or networks, the grassroots support system of ODM in Western and Luhya nation, and indeed in the entire country. I've studied ODM for a long time, and one thing which ODM and Raila Odinga's handlers failed on was that they tried to ignore the ODM as a political party. Unknown to them, ODM had the best structures nationally. For example, I was wondering why Raila Odinga could not get agents when ODM as a political party is structured such that it has support from the grassroots. At the polling station, ODM is structured this way. It has the youth league, it has the women league, it has the mainstream, and of course they added the disability. So if you go to any polling station, you will always find ODM officials there. And ODM Youth League has 20 officials. Women League has 20 officials. Then Mainstream has 18. But then another 2 are added. One from Youth League and one, the chair of Youth League and the chair of Women League. So that they join the Mainstream. So that whenever the Mainstream is meeting, they meet. So if Raila Odinga is keen on revamping ODM party in Western Kenya, he should forget about leaders, but focus on the ODM structures on the ground. I talk a lot to most of the ODM officials on the ground. They have been ignored for the last 10 years. Why? Because someone like Atwoli came, he's a confessed KANU guy, took control of ODM, of Raila in Western Kenya, so that whenever Raila Odinga would go to Western Kenya, the person who would call the shots would be Atwoli, would be, say, someone like Wamalwa, Eugene, would be, so that Raila Odinga forgot completely about his party. And someone from, my friend from Bungoma, Rico 001, a youth leader there, he told me something again during the last election, that Bungoma were very bitter with Raila Odinga. The fact that he told them not to sponsor some candidates in Bungoma. So they would have rather gone to the election with ODM candidates and campaigned and failed with them, rather than supporting other political parties. So Raila Odinga must, as a matter of urgency, reactivate the ODM network. Without reactivating the ODM networks, Raila Odinga should forget. In fact, that is the biggest problem he's facing. If you go to Coast, for example, that's the same challenge he's facing. Like if you go to Taita Taveta, the current governor who was elected as independent was an ODM candidate. But because Raila Odinga wanted to support Samboja, who refused to join ODM, he ended up losing. Why? Because the ODM from that region decided that for them, they were going to stick with one of them, because Mwadime has consistently stood with ODM party. So Raila Odinga must, as a matter of urgency, reactivate the ODM network. Do you have any problem with that? No. The second thing Raila Odinga must do as a matter of urgency in Western Kenya is to elevate either Polo Tuoma or Otichilo within ODM. Raila Odinga has elevated Oparanya, but I tend to think that Oparanya is not very stable. The other day, he told ODM he told Raila Odinga that the 2022 election was the last election he was supporting him. I saw him the other day again denying. Earlier, before the elections, you remember, Oparanya was seen with William Ruto in some meeting somewhere. I think it was somewhere in Kajiado. The reason he gave was that he was also just in the same hotel. Of course, in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. So Raila Odinga can elevate Oparanya because he loves him, but he can also elevate either Tuoma or Otichilo. If you look at Busia, Raila Odinga previously depended on Amos Wako. Amos Wako retired. So Tuoma should be elevated, because Busia is still ODM stronghold, so they can start by cementing the base. Or he can decide and elevate Otichilo. Why? Otichilo is a second-term governor, ODM governor for Vihiga. On 2 occasions, he has defeated Musalia Mudavadi's candidates. So it means he's a guy who can easily be elevated, because Otichilo will not be going again for the governor. His term is coming to an end. So for me, I tend to think that Raila Odinga must make very fast decision, either to elevate Tuoma or to elevate Otichilo. So that's number 2. The third thing he must do is that Raila Odinga must now start making more trips to Western Kenya. Why should he make those trips? I remember how Raila Odinga used to operate before. Raila Odinga would simply go to Western Kenya, attend some funeral there, later on sleep somewhere, then interact with the people at night. Now, when he started meeting with the big boys, Atwoli and the rest, what would happen is that Raila Odinga would go to a funeral in a chopper, address the gathering, then fly and go have 1 or 2 beer at either Atwoli's house or another big boy somewhere there, somewhere like that. So he needs now to start making more trips to Western and indeed the entire country, but with the mentality of 2007 or 2013, not the mentality of going to be hosted by the big boys. That's actually what has costed Raila Odinga a lot of support in some of his strongholds, because he lost touch. You meet someone, he's telling you, I've been with Raila Odinga from 1992, and then when the time of election comes, we are thrown away. So he can use those more trips to really understand and get the people who are genuinely with him. The fourth thing he must do, and I don't know how he's going to do it, is that Raila Odinga must now start focusing and strategizing on how he can create internal rift within Kenya Kwanza. If you look at the way Kenya Kwanza is structured, there is UDA, there is Ford Kenya, and then there is ANC party. Ford Kenya and ANC will always work together to fight UDA. UDA is not willing to cede any grounds to Ford Kenya and the ANC party because they want to be the dominant party. Of course, they have the presidency, so they are bragging about it. That's why someone like Boni Alwale can go to Bungoma and just tell Wetangula off. So Raila Odinga can take advantage of those divisions and figure out the best way he can entrench them, the internal fights. So maybe his advisors can figure out the best way. And lastly, I tend to think that Raila Odinga must now create a more working relationship with ODM MPs. When I talk of ODM MPs, I mean those who genuinely believes in ODM. Like for example, Nabi Nabuera from the member of parliament for where Ayub Savula used to be the MP. Why am I forgetting the name? Remind me the name of that constituency. Lugari. The current Lugari member of parliament is a non-ODM guy. There are several of them who are known to be fully ODM. You know, if you go to Luanda, the current member of parliament was previously in ODM, but Raila Odinga preferred the former governor, or the ODM party preferred the former member of parliament. So this gentleman ended up winning. So he would easily win if he were to join ODM. So Raila Odinga should go ahead and identify some of these real ODM members and start working, creating more working relationship with them. He can identify the MCs, work very closely with them. I know age is catching up with Raila Odinga, but if he were to continue being in politics, then he has to work extra hard. I know William Ruto, with his money, with the deep state, will really try to overrun him. But if he can forge a close working relationship, then I can assure you he will be able to see progress. Without that, I don't think he will be lucky man in the larger Western Kenya. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.